So I'm back. I didn't stream yesterday. I was I'm gonna be on the news. I was at my brother is the board member of a charity, and what he does is he helps hard to place kids. So kids who are not kids or not children, not babies, I should say. He's like 11, 10 years old, right? He's on the board of that. And what they do is they try and help these hard to place kids get placed. Right. And by doing that, they just have to get attention on them, which is cool. What I did is I guess one of these kids was like, hey, I like playing video games. Kids before him, they would like say, oh, I love basketball. So they would get like some famous basketball player to play basketball with this kid, and they would film it and they would put together a little like piece for the news. And the adoption rate of these kids went up from 1% to 70%, which is really cool. And Ryan asked me to do, something like that. This kid liked playing video games, so he was like, well, let's go to Pinballs, and you'll meet this kid and just play arcade games for an hour and a half, and we'll film some stuff here and there and put together a little piece for the news. So I went there, and I did it, and the kid was nice, but he was such a kid. I don't know how else to word it. Like, how do I give examples? It was definitely, it was a good thing I did, and the kid was very nice. In fact, I wish, after the film crew left, the kid was much less shy, I should say. But examples of his 11-year-oldness showing. So obviously we're trying to like get things for, the documentary. But this kid doesn't, he's like, I just want to play arcade games. I'm at the arcade. I want to play games, right? That's all he thinks about, which is normal. But I try and, kind of like make it somewhat of a competition between me and him to kind of like have both of us there, because that's what they wanted us to do. So I'm like, hey, man, why don't we play this game, like Jackpot, where the thing goes around in a circle. You got to hit the button on the light. I'm like, why don't we do this and see who can get a jackpot first? You try, and then I try. And he's like, and he tries, and he misses. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a go. Let me see if I can get it. And as soon as I'm like, I try, he just walks away. He's like, what about this game? I'm like, too cool for me. Yeah, he doesn't care about content. I mean, the whole idea, it's like we're trying to get you help you get adopted. Like, bro. I also when I first got there, so they obviously had like the kid mic'd up already, and they had this this lady from KView, it's a news, like KView News, I don't know, so literally the news. And she was like their spokesperson. She was very talkative and outgoing. Like, I was like, what the fuck? But I first walked in there, and I hadn't even met this kid. I'm nervous as hell, by the way. I'm like, what do they expect of me? Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Like, I don't do this kind of stuff. And so I walk in, I'm nervous, and immediately they have like a fucking directional microphone camera turns toward me. I'm like, whoa. They're like, hey, Sodapoppin, tell us about yourself. What do you do? What do you do? What have you been doing? What's going on? And I'm like, And they asked what I did for a living, and I was like, oh, I play video games. Like, oh, cool. What kind of games do you play? And I told them I play trash. And they're like, oh, cool. Like, what kind of trash? Or what do you mean trash? Is that a genre? No, it's not a genre. What I said is picture walking into GameStop and saying, give me the worst games that you can't sell. And they're like, oh, like, what are some examples? And I was like, give us a name. I'm like, okay, picture a high school project just trying to pass, computer class. Those kind of games. Like, oh, cool. So you like make fun of games all day. It's not even true. I know it's not fully true. I actually play really good games, but I was caught in the moment, man. The nerves, you understand, like the feeling of already being nervous, and then a camera just turning towards you. And this isn't like, Finn from OTK, just like little camera. This is like, this motherfucker's got like a rocket launcher mount, right? He's got a guy holding the cords behind him. Like, they have a cord guy. So I'm like, it was nuts. It's not actually important to be accurate. You're right. Who gives a fuck, right? They're probably not even going to include my interview, but who cares?